You've just been handed a router that needs an iOS upgrade. The old image has critical security vulnerabilities. You download a new image from Cisco's website, but now you need to get it onto the router. No USB drive, no direct connection, just a network. How do you move that file? That's where TFTP comes in. Trivial File Transfer Protocol. Don't let the name fool you. It's not trivial in practice. It's the standard way network engineers move iOS images, configuration files, and other critical files between devices. TFTP uses a client-server model. One device acts as the client, in our case, the router that needs the new image. The other acts as the server, your PC or a central file server. You initiate a read request from the client to download a file from the server. Here's the part that trips people up on the exam. TFTP uses UDP, not TCP. Port 69. Memorize that number. UDP doesn't provide reliability or sequencing, but TFTP compensates by sending one block at a time and waiting for confirmation. The server sends one block, then waits for an acknowledgement from the client before sending the next block. Each block must be acknowledged. If an acknowledgement is lost, the timer expires and the block is retransmitted. After the initial request on port 69, the server allocates a new ephemeral port called the transfer ID. This is the port used for the rest of the communication. For the exam, though, just remember TFTP equals UDP port 69. Now, TFTP has no authentication, no username, no password. A TFTP server responds to any request. And it doesn't encrypt anything. All data travels in plain text. That's why you only use TFTP on a controlled LAN, never over the public internet. Before we transfer any files, you need to understand the Cisco IOS file system. It's not just one file system, it's several, each managing a different type of storage. You can see them with the Show File Systems command. The opaque type is for internal functions. The file system stores the running config, the active configuration that determines how the device operates. You can view it with Show Running Config, or more explicitly, with More System Running Config. The NVRAM file system stores the startup config, the configuration the device loads when it boots. You can view it with dir NVRAM or More NVRAM Startup Config. The disk type covers physical storage. The flash file system is the default, and the primary location where iOS images live. This is where we'll copy our new image. The network type lets you access remote file systems. The TFTP file system is the one we'll use to transfer our image from the server. To transfer the file, you use the copy command. The syntax is copy source destination. For a TFTP transfer, type copy from TFTP to flash, and then enter the server address, source file name, and destination file name. You can also specify everything in one line with copy TFTP flash. But here's a catch. TFTP doesn't let you browse the server, so you must know the exact file name before downloading. There's no directory listing. Now let's look at FTP, the older sibling. FTP has been around since 1971, and it's more capable than TFTP. Where TFTP is minimal, FTP is robust. FTP uses TCP as its transport protocol. And unlike TFTP's single connection, FTP uses two TCP connections. First, the client establishes a control connection on TCP port 21. Memorize that port. Through this connection, the server authenticates the client with username and password, and the client sends FTP commands. But the actual file transfer doesn't happen over the control connection. A second TCP connection, the data connection, is established for the file exchange. The original FTP standard had the server initiate this connection, which caused problems when firewalls and NAT became common. Modern FTP uses passive mode. In passive mode, the client initiates the data connection, and Cisco IOS uses passive mode by default. For the exam, remember, FTP control connection is TCP port 21, and FTP data connection is TCP port 20. Modern servers often use ephemeral ports for the data connection, but memorize 20 for the exam. To transfer a file with FTP, you use the same copy command but with FTP, instead of TFTP. However, FTP requires authentication. You must configure the device with the IP FTP username and IP FTP password commands before the transfer will work. You can also embed credentials directly, but for the exam, just remember FTP requires a username and password. The retr command in FTP serves the same purpose as a TFTP read request. It retrieves a specific file from the server. Now that we have the new iOS image on the device, we need to configure it to boot from the new image. This is straightforward. Use the boot system image path command in global configuration mode, then save the configuration with write memory and reboot with reload. If you're connected via Telnet or SSH, you'll lose connectivity during the reboot. If connected via the console port, you'll see the boot sequence in real time, the post, the iOS loading, and finally the CLI prompt. Before rebooting, make absolutely sure the configuration is saved. If the boot system command isn't saved, it won't take effect. After the upgrade completes, verify the new version with show version, and only then delete the old image. Don't delete it prematurely. If anything goes wrong, you may need to roll back. There are a few best practices for iOS upgrades. Back up your configuration first, read the release notes, test in a lab before deploying, and always have a rollback plan. Security is the most important reason to upgrade. A version with known vulnerabilities is a liability. C. Use show version to check the current version, and software.cisco.com to find the latest recommended version. Use show boot to view current boot settings, and boot system to change which image the device loads. Use reload to reboot.